Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Daily Racing Form YouTube. I'm Gino Buccola alongside Mike Beer with producer Bobby helping us out for a big race this weekend out at Del Mar. Let's take a look at the field for the Grade 1 Del Mar Oaks. That's going to go on Saturday, August the 16th. It's going to run as race number 8 on Saturday. We have $300,000 up for grabs. And Mike, you have a couple really nice fillies in here, starting with Thought Process. Excellent out on the West Coast. I mean, she's done very little wrong in her entire career. The lone poor effort was in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. You have Lush Lips, who has been very, very good in her own right. Her 2 losses in the U.S. came when she was behind Nitrogen in those two. I think they're the top 2 fillies in here, kind of feel like a tier above the rest.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. They're going to be the 2 favorites in here, and it adds a little intrigue that Lush Lips has shipped out here to run this race, Gino, because at least so far, and we'll see if it continues this way, but so far, Thought Process has been a little bit too good for these California-based 3-year-old fillies. Lush Lips will ship out, and in the form that she's been in, she can make things really hard on the favorite.
And as we flip over to the Timeform US Pace Projector, what was really intriguing to me about this race, Mike, is I think you have a couple horses that are legit contenders, Lush Lips and Cassaloo, who have shown some versatility recently. They used to be pretty quick horses who just wanted to be towards the front. Now they've shown that they can sit back and pass horses. I'm just wondering what tactics they choose in this race, because if they want to go more forward and make Thought Process work, that probably will give them better chances, I think, in this race, using that speed weapon that they had a little earlier in their careers.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do, because you're absolutely right. Both of them, the 5 and the 9, could go forward in here, maybe try it a little differently, at least in the case of Cassaloo, who, it hasn't been working for her to try to come from behind Thought Process to
Yeah.
win. So maybe they'll try it a different way here. Lush Lips does have speed, but I'll tell you what, the last 2 starts, they've rated her early, and she's run really, really well. I wonder if they really want to change that.
Yeah, so we'll see, because she's in great form. Let's meet the field here for the Del Mar Oaks. We start things out with Slick down on the inside. This 3-year-old filly was actually projected to be close to the front end. I'm not sure if she's quite as quick as some of these others in here. She actually comes out of a race with Velocity, the number 3, Mike. They finished first and third in that race. She was with Velocity. She just couldn't quite close with that one in the late stages of the race. She ran fine, but this definitely is another step up in class.
Yeah, Gino, I'm holding out some hope that Slick can maybe move forward here. I like some of her races as a 2-year-old, and I feel like if you want excuses, you're right about her last race. She just got outkicked by Velocity through the stretch. But a couple of things about the race. She was first off the long layoff there in the 3-year-old debut, and I think she was really compromised by having post 12 in there. I don't think Rispoli envisioned her getting that trip sort of stuck on the outside there. She just didn't really want to rate for him, and I think it really cost her at the end. This is a way better post for her, drawn to the inside. She can let the speed clear from the outside, sit in the pocket. That's the trip that really worked for her when she broke her maiden right before the layoff. And I can see her getting that trip in here at a price.
Yeah, and it's a big field, but I do think the top 2 kind of stand out. And then when you just look and compare the rest of the field on speed figures, they're not that far off from each other. A horse like this would not shock to at least be able to kind of hit the board or bottom of some of the exotics. Take a Breath feels like a wild card in here, Mike. This one comes in to the U.S. for the first time, has actually won 3 of the last 4, but we're talking about races at like lower levels and pretty soft races. Most recently was last of 6 with about 5 lengths off, did tip out widest of all, got challenged by a rival late, but who angled around her. I thought it was an okay effort. I just don't really know how those races are going to stack up against a tough Thought Process and a really nice informed Lush Lips.
That was my main concern too. I mean, she is in good form shipping over here, so that's sort of a feather in her cap, but it's not like she's running in stakes races over there. She's more of a handicap kind of horse, and now they're going to ship over here and run her, and I think in a tougher race. She was pretty good last time because she didn't break great and came from last, but she just sort of worked really, really hard to get the job done. I don't know, I'm not thrilled with her form over there, but I understand that there's a way to make a case for her as a new face in here.
And you almost call me David, and I will
did.
take that as a handicapping gambler compliment. Absolutely. That
So
raises that steps my game up a little bit if I'm David. Velocity is the next one here, Mike. And Velocity, we talked about coming out of that same race with Slick. Velocity ran fine. And when you look at the overall form, nothing really to knock. The only loss on the turf was actually chasing a pretty fast lone speed winner in Jungle Peace. Just a tough group, a competitive group. You just got to pick and choose who you like in here.
100%. Yeah, her races are all good. She's going to have to get faster, it seems like, to beat this field. And she did. Listen, she stretched out effectively last time. I thought overall she got a really good trip in that race, but she also fired a pretty good one there in the last furlong to get up. So at least I guess you don't really have to worry about distance with her anymore.
No, Resolve, grade 3 place filly. She hasn't raced since April when she was behind Frenzy Flavor. She has a race or two that would kind of get her competitive. She just hasn't been really consistent overall, Mike.
Like some of her races sort of towards the end of last year, and I haven't really seen her take that step forward
Yep.
so far as a 3-year-old. Maybe she'll do it. They finally gave her a little bit of a break there, so maybe that's a good thing for her because it felt like maybe her form sort of flatlined there through the springs. They gave her a little time. They regrouped to come back. Maybe she'll move forward now.
You move to Lush Lips, the number 5. I mean, if you just look at the races when in the Brendan Walsh barn, 5 races, 3 wins by open lengths, and 2 losses to Nitrogen, who was in the middle of a 6-race winning streak in those races. So it's just really tough to knock her overall form. And what's been so impressive about her, she seemed like she was kind of a speedball or a horse who needed the lead or wanted to be really close to it. One of the races, 2 starts back in the Edgewood, she breaks slowly and then she comes from off the pace. And now she showed us in a couple starts that she can do that. She can come from off the pace. She can win a race passing horses. She's just a really nice filly.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to that. She's just every one of her races is good. It seems like she's even getting better now. They've changed up her running style a little bit. It's really worked for her. She's a strong finisher, but she also rates very kindly, so you don't have to worry about that. Just a lot to like about her. I think they're also shipping her out here into a really good spot. She's super dangerous.
I did like Edge of Molly's victory on July the 20th, Mike. I thought it was a pretty good effort. Hopped at the start, was last, was behind horses, found a seam in the 2 path, kind of moved through traffic and then tipped out. Learned a lot in that race. It was probably a real good educational debut, educational victory at Del Mar in the second start in the US. But now we'll take another step forward. I like her overall. I just don't know about the spot in here. I kind of went back and forth. She will be a really good price, though.
Yeah, I liked her win last time too. It was a really good effort, I thought, and it suggests that maybe she could move forward again. I think it's the most interesting about her is that Mullins, who I really respect with horses like this, is going to run her in the Del Mar Oaks. I guess that's a really good sign for her. If I was going to, nitpick that win a little bit, the horse that she ran down, who was on a clear lead in there, I mean, that horse was basically stopped at the end.
Yeah.
That horse was off a layoff that extended beyond a year. I think it was a really long layoff, and she had also lost her prior start before the layoff in a maiden claiming race. So I'm not really sure what she was beating last time. I thought she looked good winning, though.
The next 5 horses that we'll talk about all come out of the grade 2 San Clemente last time out. They were the top 4 finishers, and then Me So Fancy was 7th in there. Will Then is the number 7. And Mike, I've always been a fan of this gal. I think she has some serious ability. She was precocious at 2. The problem is in some of the smaller fields or in some races, she's just not as fast as horses like Thought Process. So she has to spot them, a couple lengths and positioning a lot of the time. I'm going to give her one more shot in here. I think she's going to run well this weekend. And if for some reason we get a couple of these horses that try to put some pressure on Thought Process, Will Then can go second start back now off a short little break and maybe get some pace to run at. I want to see her getting a little more distance. I think this could maybe be something that can maybe equalize things a little bit. What do you think about Will Then's chances in here?
Very reasonable take you have on her, Gino. I think she's good anyway. I like basically all of her races. This is, the most recent start. This is the San Clemente that you were talking about, where this trip, there's nothing wrong with the trip she got in here.
No,
She got
she's
to save
third.
a bunch of ground. She's going to rally through the stretch here, but she just has no chance with Thought Process. I'm glad you brought up the distance part of this because I think that could be the key to this race. Maybe it won't matter at all, but at least so far, the horse who's going to be favored in here is a miler, and she's going to have to get 9 furlongs this time. And maybe if she doesn't stretch out effectively, it sort of opens things up for some of these other horses. And I think Will Then is one of the horses that could take advantage of more distance.
We move to Forenzi Flavor, who comes off of a 4th place finish, was in that San Clemente right there. So all these horses that we're talking about now come out of that same race. Did you see anything, or could you make a case for this horse turning the tables on some of the others that finished in front of her?
I mean, I don't think I'd be shocked if she made it a little closer anyway. She's still really lightly raced, and she was, her starts 2 and 3 back. She ran really well, winning both of those races. I think she's going to have to improve again, but I wouldn't be shocked if she did it.
Castilou is a horse who was really quick early on and kind of tailed off form. I really wasn't sure if this was one of those precocious horses who had speed and maybe just, was a horse who wanted to go short. She really has turned her form or back around in the last 4 starts in a row. She's run bang up races where she's had to kind of sit back a couple times and show she can come from off the pace and pass horses. She was well behind Thought Process last time out. She wasn't going to beat her that day, but I've been just really impressed with how she's been able to turn her form back around and run really well in her last couple races, Mike.
I agree. I listened. They turned her back to win the Sweet Life 2 starts back, and they sort of used her speed again. So I didn't really know what to make of that. But the race before that, the Blue Northern, when they went to mine with her, I thought she ran great in that race. And then she
Yep.
came back last time. She ran fine. She was no match for Thought Process, but she was clearly second best in there and ran another good race. She's another one. I guess you could worry a little bit about 9 furlongs for her, but overall, her form's solid.
It sounds funny to say about a Bob Baffert horse, but if she is the type of horse that gets forgotten about on the tote board,
Yeah,
she was 15-1 last time out. She's
sure.
at least a bottom of exotics horse because she's really honest and she could give you a nice run for your money. And she's a little versatile. She could show different things. Thought Process, really cool horse, Mike. She's a multiple graded stakes winner. She loves the Del Mar turf course. She's really quick, but she's shown us that if somebody else wants to go, she can sit off that and kind of flip the switch off for a little bit and then be asked and go again. So I don't have many things to knock on her. She's just a very nice filly.
I mean, all of her races are good. The only time she lost on the turf was the Breeders' Cup, where she went a supersonic pace against some really good Europeans. I mean, all of her races are good. Again, to me, she's clearly the horse to beat in here. She's rock solid. But I guess if you wanted to worry about stretching out to 9 furlongs, I mean, I think it's only fair to maybe worry about it because Gino, she has shown that she'll track if she can, but she's not always easy to settle. I mean, she does like to pull in
Yeah.
her races, and if she pulls early in here, maybe that'll work against her. But man, I just the longer I looked at the race, the more I just felt like she's probably making the lead in here. And if she makes the lead from out there, she's going to be really hard to beat.
She's drawn to the outside, so if for some reason somebody goes, she can sit off. And like you
Yeah,
said, she'll go a little early in her races. She'll want to, but she's just super talented, got a
yeah,
lot of ability. This is probably the toughest filly she's faced since the Breeders' Cup, though, with Lush
100%.
Lips. So this will definitely be the best field she's faced in a few races. We moved to Me So Fancy to round things out. She was well behind those top four in the San Clemente, in particular. Thought Process. She's drawn to the outside in here. She's a very honest Calbred for Leonard Powell, but she does seem like she needs to take another step up.
Yeah, we'll see if she can do it. I mean, her honeymoon 2 starts back, she just missed. That's the kind of effort that I guess will give her a chance to at least be involved at the end of this race. But we'll see if she can repeat that.
So as we move to selections, Mike, I'm going to give my old friend one more shot. I think we can get a good price in here because of the presence of Lush Lips and because of the presence of Thought Process. So at least 6-1, which is what this horse is on the morning line. If we get something in the 6 to 8 range, that would be fantastic. I don't want to take lower than about 5 or so. I do think those two horses to beat are no doubt about it. Lush Lips and then the very talented Thought Process. So for me, Mike, I'm going to go 7-10-5-9 for you, 10-1-5-7. Talk us through it a little bit.
Yeah, I like that you went with Will then because I do think that's an interesting filly in this race. We'll see. I looked at this race way too long, I think, Gino, and I just ultimately decided that Thought Process might be a little too good. But between the two favorites, I'm just going to take her. I have no problem with Lush Lips, especially if she's 3-1. We'll see how they wind up betting it. But I sided with Thought Process, and the way I decided to bet it is I'm going to try to split the two favorites. And I think Slick is a really interesting horse at a big price in here. I think she's going to get a good trip in here. And I'm going to try to get her involved at least underneath.
Yeah, I wanted to show a little bit of respect to Cassaloo for the good performances that she's been showing lately, and maybe she can get in the mix somewhere. So however you play them, wish you the best of luck on Saturday in the Del Mar Oaks.